I have here what could be my most exciting, definitely my most expensive. It's nearly £8,000 or so, better part of that, New Zealand dollars, unboxing that I'm going to do. And you can see I still have the seal on it, unbroken. And yeah, this is, I had quite a wait until it actually arrived here in New Zealand. And this here is the only 833 from Sound Devices out in the wild here in New Zealand on the 1st. And I had a bit of a wait, and actually was even sitting in my bedroom once I did get it in the corner there for a little while before I actually used it, just because, I don't know, I've actually been really busy with other stuff. I haven't had time to unbox it, and the projects I've been working on, I kind of would have preferred to use my Zoom F8N or the Zaxcom Maxon instead. But anyway, I've got a project coming up in a few more days. It's a reality TV shoot, so I'm thinking let's really get to know this back to front before that. Because this is pretty much perfect for, well, many things, but reality TV, having features like not just pre-roll of 10 seconds, but even post-roll of 10 seconds. So pre-roll allows you to sort of travel back in time to start rolling before you are meant to start rolling, while post-roll allows you to travel back in time and not cut when you didn't want to cut and keep on rolling. So that's a pretty crazy feature. So it's got 10 seconds of post-roll as well. And yeah, there's just like there's quite a few reasons as to why I got it, and I'm going to just basically unbox this and talk a bit about the reasons and then some of my first impressions as I first turn it on. And I'll definitely be talking about it more in future videos, of course. Yeah, because I got along some of these L mount, or as I would call them, NPF batteries, so I can actually turn it on when it's here. Although unfortunately it does use TA4F as a powering input, not high-res like is the case on pretty much all professional recorders. So I don't have that. I'm getting a cable made up for that. Because mine all are high-res, and the reason for this is because the Sound Devices 833 allows you to actually charge these up, so you can make sure that your well, not really internal, but you know, the directly attached batteries are always charged up. Now, to have that extra current that's required to charge the batteries as well as power the recorder, and that might be one of the only things I don't like about this recorder. It is kind of power hungry. Yeah, to have that extra amperage to charge these up, unfortunately high-res can't supply that. So yeah, I kind of wish they had a high-res input as well, so that if you don't want to charge your batteries up, because basically initially I'm going to put two of these big beefy MPF 970s on the bottom, and those are like the better part of nearly 100 watt hours together. So this can keep it running for quite a long length of time. But I will mainly be using my external power supply, and I'll just put this really small NPF 550 on the bottom that weighs almost nothing. So I basically act as the same way as when you might have internal AAA batteries and other recorders. It's just, I leave them in there for weeks on end, and I never charge them up. They're just there as an emergency in case the main battery dies without me noticing, because we're in a rush and stuff happens, or maybe a cable breaks. It's fine. Everything seems to go smoothly until I get a chance to troubleshoot whatever went wrong. And oh, here's a pretty thing. Anyway, I was getting sidetracked. I was talking about batteries. So, oh yeah, I was going to make another point. One area that I guess 833 has kind of gone backwards from the 633, which the 833 is in essence the Mark II of the 633. The one that's gone backwards is it doesn't actually have this like, what is a 5-second or 10-second power save feature. So yeah, so the 633 and the 688, but not the 664, because that was kind of like the first generation of the 6 series. It had this ability that if you lost all power, it will still stay on for just a moment. They'll give you, a few seconds. It'll give you like, oh, quick, let's swap in a new battery, or jiggle that cable that just went wrong, whatever. So that's a handy feature, but or allow you to stop the take and turn the thing off safely. That'd be another thing. So yeah, Sound Devices didn't have this in this, but I think they sort of believe it's not necessary. For one thing, the way they handle writing files, they say it's much safer that if you do lose complete power randomly, it's still that the file's not going to get corrupted or anything. I guess they must be kind of doing something a little bit similar-ish, but better than what Zexcom is doing with their MAF standard. Because Zexcom basically allows you to write broadcast wave files, or their MAF standard it's meant to be like much more robust of any, more failure safe against issues. And in fact, with my Zexcom Max, I'm always writing it to MAF standard, and then I will pass it through ZexConvert, so I get the right waves files. And anyway, enough about powering. That's something to sort of. Also, they just announced a new firmware. This is not enough about powering. I can talk about any of these topics forever. So more about the powering. They did just announce a new firmware update today from Sound Devices for the 833 and Scorpio, that it now gives you proper telemetry from smart batteries, so you can just see it there on your display of your recorder. I don't have smart batteries. I run my stuff off BPU 60s. But yeah, that probably is, I guess, it just incentivizes me to go further down this money pit hole of spending more and more money. Let's go buy myself some smart batteries. So I think what I'll probably do with that, I mean, I haven't double checked, but I think this is a good plan, is I will get a battery cup for the smart battery, and I'll split out 2 wires from it, one with the telemetry and the powering to the TA-F4F to power the 833, another one will be a high-rise output, so I can just still run my standard BDS battery distribution system for the rest of my bag that's powering everything else, like my receivers. Anyway, hey, it's all sealed up inside this plastic, and otherwise, what else do we have in the box? We have up here, says 833 portable compact mixer recorder, welcome to the family. Tells you about registration and warranty. Oh, we got a couple of stickers here. Oh, this is the little antenna. So that's a Bluetooth antenna. You can screw in onto the side of your 833. This is really good because the app at the moment, I mean, you have to be hardwired via USB to it, but I assume they're obviously going to be supporting Bluetooth in the future. So a problem with, well, in the old versions of Sound Devices recorders is you need an extra like dongle to even get the Bluetooth functionality. And yeah, just a little small dongle thing. This is like it's built in the Bluetooth, and they're adding an extra antenna to the SMA port on the side. So hopefully the antenna will give you pretty good range, because that's really the downside of Bluetooth. It's got upsides, it's very low power, and it's very ubiquitous. But yeah, the downside of Bluetooth, the range is not really good. Like, I use my Bluetooth app now and then with my Zoom F8N, and it is kind of cool. There's nice things about it, but I can definitely complain quite a few things. One of which, Zoom needs to like update their app. I mean, it's still like a better app than some other people, but there's so much potential for the app. I wish they're doing more with it. But yeah, mainly the annoying thing is the range is so small. So like, for instance, when I'm doing car shoots, I thought it's kind of helpful because I've got a drop bag in the car, rather than accessing it directly. I could just do that via Bluetooth. But I mean, you just step away for a little while, you drop out of range, and then the whole reconnection thing. Yeah, so hopefully this antenna should give me like really good range with the app in the future when they bring out this assumed. I mean, I'll be shocked if they don't support it for the app in the future. And that's another thing about the Sound Devices app. I want to make a little complaint, because yeah, I'm going to love the 833, but there will be, of course, things I will criticize. I can criticize anything and everything. And oh hey, we can see when a car passes by, I'm suddenly a lot brighter now the headlights are turned away. Yeah, whose smart idea was to do it just as the sun was setting and now it's getting really dark? Oh well, whatever. Yeah, that was my fault. We also, yeah, I'm going to definitely criticize things about the 833, and one of the things I was going to criticize was, oh yeah, the app for it. Like, at the moment, the app only works with tablets. Like, lots of times I would prefer to use a cell phone. I mean, I don't care if maybe the screens are smaller and I can't see the details, or it's harder to tap stuff, just because it's often more handy to have the small size with cell phone than a bloody big tablet. And of course, at times I prefer a tablet when you're like on a cart or something. So yeah, I mean, if I'm just wanting to quickly whip my phone out to check something, or quickly enter in some metadata with a normal keyboard we use to text with all the time, yeah, I use a phone. Or maybe if I want to attach a phone to my burn pole so I can just like keep a glance out of my eye of what's going on. Again, I want to have a phone, not a tablet. So yeah, I really hope that Sound Devices takes care of that. Otherwise, what I'm going to have to do is just like root one of my phones and change make it identify itself as a tablet, because it's 2019. You can identify as whatever you want. And if my phone was identified as a tablet, I'm going to identify as a tablet, so I can install the Sound Devices app on it. Anyway, so yeah, there's stickers, there's the antenna, there's the sort of welcome to the family little brochure, and is that a signature by the actual Sound Devices president himself, or just one that's printed on? Yeah, and tells you what's inside it, which is literally what I just said. Oh wait, they're little dot stickers. Oh, they'll be these. Yeah, I've seen some people like stick dots onto your faders just so you can quickly identify at a glance which one it is. And if you're really geeky, you'll color code them the same way resistors are color coded. Cool. Slide that back in. We've got here a power cord, which is completely wrong for here in New Zealand. This is American. That's why the kind guys at Sound Techniques, which is the best, and I will say the only professional sound retail store in New Zealand, when I bought it from Sound Techniques, they gave me a cable that's appropriate for New Zealand. So yeah, we can power this off mains. If you're got a cart scenario and you've got mains, or you're just doing a long interview or something, yeah, why not? Or also, if you're doing it via mains, you'll be able to charge up these batteries. Sweet. But yeah, I will probably, there's options inside the menu to turn on or off the charging option. I will probably have it always turned off, unless there's a particular reason why it shouldn't be, just to save battery power of charging a battery with a battery, and also you won't get it heating up so much. Yeah, that might be the other small negative I've read about this. It does get kind of hot. But when we say hot, it's just hot like, say, the Sound Devices 788T gets. The Sound Devices 788TT. Why only one T? Why am I saying double T? Oh, because I've got my time trial bike there. Yay for time trialing. TT. Yeah, so the Sound Devices 88T, that got quite hot to the touch as well. But it's a very well-known, very robust workhorse that nobody ever has any problems with. Yeah, reasonably speaking. So, the 78TT is actually the same standards. I'm sure the 833 will be fine. But yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on user reports. Anybody who using an 833 out in Saudi Arabia or somewhere, report back and let us know how it's going. How should I unwrap this the best? Oh, look at this. I can just get that off. Yeah. So yeah, so why did I get the 833? To be honest, I probably could still be using my old Zoom F4 and I'd probably still be just fine. I guess I just have this desire to always keep on getting the best possible and just pushing everything further and better. Yeah, because my progression was when I was the very first thing, like before I started film school, I got a Zoom H1, so I know that doesn't really count. And then I got a Tascam DR60D, the original Mark 1, back when I was at film school. And then round about, was it when I left or? Yeah, I got the Sound Devices 552 secondhand at a pretty good price. So that was awesome, but it is only a stereo recorder. So I then got the Tascam DR680. Again, this was the original Mark 1, and yeah, that was awesome. I also got a QR code on it. Oh yeah, I get to register it. Wow, here it is. And then I actually got two Tascam DR680s due to accidents and purchases, but also it's handy to have a backup always. And this was around about just before the Zoom F8 came out. So in hindsight, kind of really bad timing perhaps, but then Zoom had a terrible reputation, so I wasn't going to be jumping on that bandwagon. But you know, I saw how Zoom F8 was received, and it was actually amazing and groundbreaking and nothing at all like what Zoom otherwise is as a company. So yeah, when the F4 got announced, so it was a year or so later, I was like jumping to that, and that was definitely such an improvement over, you know, that double stacked up Sound Devices 552 mixed in front of the Tascam DS680, which was a bit of a beast. Yeah, I loved the Zoom F4. I did my first feature film with that, and then I was really thinking after a while, I had it for a couple of years, what I was going to move to. And just as I was thinking about it, the F8N got pre-announced. And I just felt like that had a lot of nice improvements over the F8, because I didn't feel like going from the F4 to F8 was a big enough leap, but going to the F8N would make sense. And so yeah, I did that, and then I had that for a year, and then I saw a good price on a Max, Saxcom Max, and so I got that. I didn't really think about getting Sound Devices 633 though, which is basically the father to this one before it. I didn't think about getting the Sound Devices 633 because I guess for its price, I just felt there were too little many quirky things I felt like I might not like about it. And I thought with how long the 633 had been out for, surely it could only be a little while longer until a successor would come out. And it would really suck to buy a 633 and then have the next month this be announced, which is, yeah, I mean, I know of somebody who bought a 688 and then the Scorpio got announced the next week. I mean, but sometimes, you know, you just got to, that's how the chips happen. But, you know, as long as you're putting the 688 to work immediately and making money from it, I mean, it's not such a bad thing. Anyway, it's been sidetracked. So, I mean, of course, if I had seen the 633 at a crazy good price, like I did with the Max, I probably would have got the 633 anyway. But yeah, no, there were just little things about it that I thought no. And I guess once Scorpio got announced, it was obvious writing on the wall that the 833, or well, I mean, we didn't know it's called 833, but whatever the 633 Mark II was going to be called, it's got to be around the corner. I mean, it might be a whole more year, or it might even be 2 years, but it's got to be soon-ish. As it turned out, it was, I think a bit less than a year between Scorpio and 833. And it really like answers a lot of the things that I might not have liked about the 633. So for instance, I didn't like the little small things, like I don't like the fact that the metadata, you were limited by a relatively short number of characters that you could write in, much less than what I could write on my F8N. And as you might notice, if you watch my YouTube videos and know me in real life, I tend to ramble on and on, so I quite like to have very descriptive metadata info that I write. Plus it's helpful for the editor, of course. So yeah, I was just going, that'd be really annoying. And just, you know, little things like that, or bigger things, like, I mean, one of the big reasons people say Sound Devices is fantastic and amazing is because of their fantastic sounding limiters. But the 633 only has it on 3 of the channels, and the other 3 are not even mic level, as well as lacking limiters, they're line level, which is, again, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but like I couldn't do ambisonics with it, for instance, although I don't believe there's ambisonic support for this either, although I'd have to I don't think so. But at least it's a possibility that maybe it's going to come out in the future. Unlikely. But yeah, I mean, I've still got to keep my F8. Or actually, I might keep the Max. I've got too many recorders. I'm going to put out both the F8N and the Max, and whichever one gets sold first, I'll just keep the other one forever as my secondary backup one to this, or just maybe as my small bag for smaller shoots. Because yeah, I love them both, but just for different reasons. So it's going to tear my heart apart to try to decide which one of the Max or the F8N will I prefer to keep. So I'm just going to keep whichever one doesn't get sold. Anyway. well, what else I was going to say about like little reasons? Oh, like other thing is like 6 channels is all well and good on the 63, and it covers you for most of the time. But having just 2 more channels, 8 channels, really covers you for almost all the time. So you just that last 2. So again, like I'm not going to be using it heaps, but these extra 2 channels. But again, it's a nice little bump up from the 63, and stuff like the Bluetooth antenna. Yeah, so there's just, and the fact that, you know, this is got the latest, it's the latest generation, so it's going to see all the best firmware updates. I mean, we've seen some amazing stuff come to the 63, like who would have expected Dugan Auto Mix to come into the 63. So yeah, I imagine we'll probably get some things in the future that'll be just as amazing as this, because this has got the same processing power in it as the top of the line Sound Devices Scorpio, which is, you know, some 15,000 New Zealand dollars to buy. Because they've both got inside them 3 FPGAs. FPGA stands for Field Programmable Gate Array. If I got that right. And so that basically means they're a bit more power hungry, but if FPGAs are basically very reprogrammable to do almost anything, versus ASICs a bit more like hard coded in. So this is one to set up. That's kind of what's going to happen. So it's yeah, I think there's a really massive opportunities in terms of what kind of firmware this could be getting in the future. Updates. Anyway, yeah, let's break this seal and take a deeper look. This is limitation on Sound Devices liability to full extent by blah blah, lots of legal stuff. Oops, broke that. And do I feel slightly nervous holding this over grass dirt? It'll be fine if I drop it. Anyway, so yes, and like yeah, talking about all these potential things that are coming in the future, there's this little clip thing here on the side of which I'm not sure. I mean, I can see this little cutout, but I don't. Oh, here it is. If I push down on this side, aha, it pops out, and will a car pass by soon so you can actually see what I'm holding? Yes, it's a little magnetic thing. It's magnetic, so I think I remember them saying it actually like clips in. Oh yeah, it clips in here on the back. So, aha, on the back. But let's keep it on the front at most time, covering up this little, I guess, ribbon port entry, and a couple of screws next to it too. So we don't officially know what that's for, but the biggest guess people would have is that it's going to be for the, let's say, mythical SL4, basically like the existing SL6 we've got for the 688 and the Scorpio. In fact, is it for the 664 as well? I'm not sure the SL6 is. Anyway, that allows you to drop in 3 super slot compatible receivers, which will give you a total of 6 channels of wireless, and have it all integrated with the recorder. And so this being a bit smaller, you wouldn't quite really have space for 3, but perhaps they're going to bring out an SL4 to put in 2 super slot receivers to have a total of 4 channels to integrate in. And that was what we kind of assumed this slot here on the side is. They also announced a Dante, because there was one complaint about this, is that we've only got one AES digital pair on this, on channel 1. That's not really a deal breaker for me, because I don't even have any digital microphones. But if I did, I mean, it'd just be one boom, I guess, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, people do, we should have more digital inputs, because that is the way of the future. And this is hopefully, if I sort of keep my gear addiction syndrome under control, I not jump like a slut to another recorder in 2 minutes, this is going to be a recorder I'm going to keep for, 5 years or so. And so when you think about in 5 years from the future, what further technological developments will we have? I mean, digital inputs are only going to become even more and more mainstream. So they did announce something about Dainty being supported as an extra accessory to add on. But I think the details were a bit scanned. Was that just for Scorpio, or is they think they're going to get that too? But yeah, my big hope is that we do get an SL4. that'll be 4 channels we can record on top of the original 8 channels we can record, a total of 12 channels. That'll be really cool if so. I mean, I can't see why that couldn't technically be possible, because this has the same horsepower as Scorpio, which can record like, what, 32 channels and 36 tracks in total. So yeah, if you're listening, Sound Devices, when you bring out the SLR, make it 4 on top. Don't make it replace any of the 4 inputs we already have. That's my dear hope for the future. If that happens, I won't care what else happens with the 833 in the future. That alone will just keep me happy for the next few years. Because yeah, I mean, like, as great as having 8, I mean, 12 will really keep me. It would be hard for me to be in scenarios where I need more than 12. So I say now. Anyway, shall we turn this on? See, now this is going to be another one of the sort of small things I'm going to complain about. The size of that screen. I mean, it's a nice size screen, but in this day and age where we have so many big screens like my iPad there and so forth, why are screens not big, just bigger on these devices? I mean, like, heck, the original iPhone had, at least in, just so old now, that had a 3.5-inch screen. Why can't we at least have a screen as big as the original iPhone? I don't care. Like, I mean, they could have made this not quite so deep and a bit fatter, so you had more space on top. I'd rather, yeah, just see more. But anyway, that's why we will throw a tablet on in front, whatever, to see more info. But again, you know, in times we're not using this, I just want maximum screen size. Oh yeah, there might be another little small complaint. This little like toggle thing they use for recording, rather than like a big red record button. I've got the same thing in my Sound Devices 552. I never was really the biggest of fans of it, but it is a bit nitpicky, I think, to just say it's something I don't like about it. I kind of wish they just had a big red button to press for record. But yeah, I'll get used to that with time. So yeah, that's one of the nice things though they've changed between the 633 and the 833. They've got lots more like LEDs that'll circle around stuff and give you more visual indicators. So even not seen on the screen, but on next to all the various knobs and dials you have here, just these visual indicators of what's going on. So when Dugan is activated, you know, there are these purple rings that will be spinning around which particular mic inputs are being used at that point in Dugan, and you know, if something peaks, you'll get like reds flashing up and so forth. And when you've got like post-roll active, before that ends, I think it spins orange around the record toggle. So yeah, just little things like that. Yeah, so basically, I guess when I've been saying it for quite a long time that probably the day the 633 Mark II comes out, I was going to like rush down and pre-order that, and that's basically what I did. I pretty much saw it at around 4:30 a.m. when I woke up for this doco shooting I was on, and pretty much within an hour I'd sent an email to Sound Technique saying put me down for one, and then I rang them up like the second he walked through the door to just like confirm that yep, I'm first in queue. Well, as it turns out the queue was one person, just me. I am going to be really curious as to how the market is going to shake up, because you know, Zaxcom brought out Nova, which is an amazing bag recorder, and I could see that stealing like a lot of market share away, because at the moment Sound Devices definitely has the biggest market share in general for recorders and the professional level, and Zaxcom will be second, and Anton third, Sonos sax fourth, and I mean, I haven't mentioned Zoom or Tascam, but we could debate if they should be included in that list or not. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I didn't go for Nova for a few reasons. One being that just the total cost, I mean, it's awesome, but it's not just a recorder by itself. You've got I mean, you could buy just a recorder by itself, but I feel that really defeats the purpose and the real strengths of Nova, which is its integration with the entire Zaxcom system. So you really have to go all in on everything Zaxcom, and I honestly own nothing with Zaxcom aside from the Zaxcom Max. And so once you add in the cost of those slot-in receivers for the Novas, and of course buying the transmitters for it, that's a really, really big investment. You're looking at like, what, 40,000 New Zealand dollars or something? I mean, some people would say, well, just get a bank loan and you know, it's a business investment and you just pay it off, you know, over the years.